Raksha Mantri Rajnath Singh says if there are any questions on India's sovereignty and territorial integrity, its resolve to protect its interest at any cost cannot be doubted. Raksha Mantri to attend the Victory Day parade along with Indian marching contingents in Moscow today holds bilateral talks with Russian Deputy Prime Minister Yuri Borisov. Army Chief General M.M. Narawane is in Ladakh on a two-day visit to review overall military preparedness and ground situation at line of actual control. Interacts with soldiers at military hospital in Leh. Army Commanders Conference reviews operational situation on northern and western fronts. Mutual consensus to disengage emerges between India and China after core commander level talks. Modalities for disengagement from all friction areas in eastern Ladakh to be taken forward by both the sides. India seeks 50% staff reduction in Pakistan High Commission in New Delhi within a week. Ministry of External Affairs summons chargé d'affaires of Pakistan and conveys India's objections to the repeated gross violations of Vienna Convention and bilateral agreements by Pakistan. India to also reciprocally reduce its presence in Islamabad proportionally. Effective policy measures by the government and RBI start yielding results as economic indicators in agriculture, manufacturing and service sectors, along with monetary indicators, show increase. National capital Delhi records highest number of COVID-19 cases in a day to almost 4,000. Lockdown imposed in 11 wards of Guwahati in Assam after a sudden surge in COVID-19 positive cases without travel history. India's recovery rate from COVID-19 improves to over 56% with more than 2.48 lakh patients being cured and discharged. Active cases stand at 1.78 lakh with 14,000 fatalities. ICMR advises all state governments, public and private institutions and hospitals to scale up COVID testing. Global cases rise over 92.37 lakh with over 4.76 lakh deaths world over. Good morning, you're watching DD News and I'm Preeti presenting the bulletin. Our top story first. Raksha Mantri Rajnath Singh said that if there are any questions on India's sovereignty and territorial integrity, its resolve to protect its interests at any cost cannot be doubted. Raksha Mantri, who was on a three-day visit to Russia, held bilateral talks with Russian Deputy Prime Minister Yuri Borisov. Rajnath Singh has expressed confidence that the two nations will expedite defense deals.
यह प्रमाण है। पैंडेमिक की सभी कठिनाइयों के बावजूद हमारे बाइलेटरल रिलेशंस डिफरेंट लेवल पर बने हुए हैं। हम हमारे प्रधानमंत्री श्री नरेंद्र मोदी के इन्विटेशन पर हिज एक्सलेंसी प्रेसिडेंट ऑफ रशियन फेडरेशन व्लादिमीर पुतिन के इस वक्त भारत आगमन को लेकर भी हम काफी उत्सुक हैं। भारत और रशिया का एक स्पेशल एंड प्रिविलेज स्ट्रेटेजिक पार्टनरशिप वाला रिलेशनशिप है। हमारा डिफेंस रिलेशनशिप इसका एक महत्वपूर्ण पिलर है। मुझे भरोसा दिलाया गया है कि ऑनगोइंग कॉन्ट्रैक्ट्स को मेंटेन किया जाएगा और न केवल मेंटेन किया जाएगा बल्कि उनको और तेजी से कम समय में पूरा भी किया जाएगा।
And Defence Minister will today attend the Victory Day parade to commemorate the 75th anniversary of victory in the Second World War. The parade is organized to honor the heroism and sacrifices made by the Russians and other friendly people. A tri-service 75-member Indian military contingent is also participating in the Victory Day parade along with Russian contingent and other invited contingents. The Indian participation in the Victory Day parade will be a mark of tribute to the great sacrifices made by Russia and other nations in the Second World War, in which Indian soldiers also participated and made supreme sacrifice.
Members Indian Armed Forces contingent will participate at the Victory Day celebrations military parade at the Red Square, Moscow on 24th of June. The contingent is commanded by Major Anjan Gorka of the 2nd Infantry Regiment, and the proud bearers of the national flag are the 3 women officers of Indian Army, the Indian Air Force and the Indian Navy. On behalf of the Indian Armed Forces, we wish the Russian Armed Forces a very happy Victory Day. Jai Hind and Udaji.
Our correspondent Ramesh Ramachandran is joining us on phone line. Ramesh, we've told our viewers how Defence Minister Rajnath Singh has expressed the resolve on to protect the interests and territorial integrity of the country. Added to that, the Defence Minister also held bilateral talks with the Russian Deputy Prime Minister. First of all, update us with the takeaways from the meeting.
Yes, Preeti, the fact that Defence Minister Rajnath Singh made time to travel to Moscow in the middle of what is happening in Ladakh, the violent face-off with the Chinese troops, is itself significant. Now, yesterday, he held a bilateral meeting with the Deputy Prime Minister of Russia, Yuri Borisov. Now, Borisov, co-chairs 2 groups. One, the Intergovernmental Commission on Trade, Economy and Scientific Cooperation. And he also co-chairs the High-Level Committee on Science and Technology. Now, following that meeting, the minister said that Russia has agreed to expedite the existing contracts. Russia will also expedite the spares required for the 3 services of the Indian Armed Forces, be it the tanks of the Army, the submarines of the Navy, or even the Sukhoi jets and other fighter jets in the Indian Air Force. And Russia has told India that it will execute those contracts soon, and that Russia has given a positive response to India's request in this regard. Remember, India sources 60% of its military hardware from Russia, so Russia is indeed a special and privileged strategic partner for India. But that said, Preeti, the Chinese the defense minister is also in Moscow as we speak, but there's not going to be any meeting at all between Defense Minister Rajnath Singh and its Chinese counterpart, Wei Fenghe. So clearly, India has drawn the red line when it comes to China in this matter.
All right, Ramesh, also in the beginning you talked of how this visit comes in the midst of the coronavirus pandemic, and also we've seen that the Defence Minister talked of how this visit will further strengthen the defence and strategic relationship between the 2 countries. Talk more about that.
Indeed, remember last year, in fact 2 years ago in 2018, India signed a contract worth $5.4 billion for buying 5 missile defense systems from Russia called the Triumph Air Defense Missile System, the S-400. And in his meetings with his Russian counterparts and other officials in Moscow yesterday, Preeti, Russia has agreed to send those systems to India at the earliest date, possibly the year end or early next year. And also yesterday we saw Defense Secretary Ajay Kumar hold a meeting with his Russian counterpart, that is Deputy Defense Minister Alexander Fomin. So we're expecting a visit to India by President Putin later this year at the invitation of Prime Minister Modi. So all on balance, India and Russia have reviewed the defense contract, the defense ties, and as Minister Rajnath Singh said, he has got a positive response from the Russian side.
All right, Ramesh, thank you so much for joining us with those inputs. And let's get to other news now. Army Chief General M.M. Naravane is in Ladakh on a 2-day visit to review overall military preparedness and ground situation at line of actual control. The Army Chief interacted with injured soldiers at military hospital in Leh. He inquired about their well-being and treatment at the hospital. General Naravane also met Ladakh MP Jamyang Sereg Namgyal. The Army Chief will have a series of meetings with local Army officials during the day today. To get us more on his visit, Amritpal Singh, our correspondent, is joining us from Leh. Amrit, let us know more details when we talk of the second day of our Army Chief's visit to Ladakh first.
The Army Chief's visit meeting started yesterday. It's a 2-day visit to review the situation, to review the operational preparedness of the Indian Army. He held a meeting yesterday with the Corps Commander. He was accompanied by the Northern Army Commander General I.K. Joshi. The corps commander would have briefed him what transpired in the meeting between him and his Chinese counterpart the day before. He visited, as you said, the soldiers at the General Hospital, military hospital in Leh. These were Indian soldiers who were part of the skirmish, who were injured in the skirmish that took place on the intervening night of 14th and 15th. It was a morale-boosting visit and to inquire about their well-being. The sources tell us that the soldiers were pretty upbeat and their morale was very high. They told the army chief that they are raring to go back to their posts and to defend the motherland and territorial integrity of the country. And today he's expected to meet some ground commanders. He will visit some base headquarters and meet the ground commanders and see for himself the preparedness of the army, the operational preparedness of the army. So that's what his plan today is, Preeti.
All right, Amrita, thank you so much for joining us with those inputs on the Army Chief's visit to Ladakh. And in more news, military-level talks between India and China have taken a positive turn. According to the sources, the second Corps Commander-level talks between India and China since Galwan standoff were held at Moldo in a cordial, positive and constructive atmosphere. There was mutual consensus to disengage. Modalities for disengagement from all friction areas in eastern Ladakh were discussed and will be taken forward by both the sides. And India will reduce staff strength in Pakistan High Commission in New Delhi by 50% and recall a similar number of officials from its commission in Islamabad, the External Affairs Ministry said, amidst the ongoing diplomatic row between the two nations. The reduction is to be implemented within 7 days. Also, Pakistan's charge d'affaires has been summoned and was told that India had repeatedly expressed concerns about Pakistani officials in acts of espionage and maintaining dealings with terrorist organizations. The behavior of Pakistan is not in conformity with the Vienna Convention and bilateral agreements on treatment of diplomatic and consular officials.
India has asked Pakistan on Tuesday to reduce its staff in the High Commission in New Delhi by half within the next 7 days and announced a reciprocal reduction in Indian strength in Islamabad. India has said that the officials have been found to be involved in acts of espionage and maintaining dealings with terrorist organizations. A statement released by the Ministry of External Affairs said that the Charge d'Affaires of Pakistan was summoned to the Ministry of External Affairs. He was informed that India has repeatedly expressed concern about the activities of officials of his High Commission. It said that they've been engaged in acts of espionage and maintained dealings with terrorist organizations. The activities of the two officials caught red-handed and expelled on the 31st of May 2020 was one example in this regard. The statement further put light on the harassment of Indian High Commission officials in Pakistan. It said Pakistan has in parallel engaged in a sustained campaign to intimidate the officials of the Indian High Commission in Islamabad from carrying on their legitimate diplomatic functions. The recent abduction at gunpoint of 2 Indian officials is an example. These officials, who have returned to India on the 22nd of June 2020, have provided graphic details of the barbaric treatment that they experienced at the hands of Pakistani agencies. The behavior of Pakistan and its officials is not in conformity with the Vienna Convention and bilateral arrangements on the treatment of diplomatic and consular officials. Therefore, the Government of India has taken the decision to reduce the staff strength in the Pakistan High Commission in New Delhi by 50%. On the 31st of May, 2 officials of Pakistan High Commission were caught red-handed and expelled in an espionage case. Meanwhile, J&K police has said that Pakistan is trying to push terrorists into Jammu and Kashmir under the cover of ceasefire violations by its troops along the line of control.
पाकिस्तान की तरफ से और भी कोशिशें हो रही हैं कि जैश ए मोहम्मद के और कार्डर्स और लश्कर तौबा के और कार्डर जो हैं कश्मीर के अंदर भेजे जाएं। उसके लिए चाहे उनको आईबी सेक्टर का इस्तेमाल करना पड़े जम्मू में, या फिर रजौरी पुंछ के सेक्टर में। कल परसों से भी नौशहरा सेक्टर फिर से बहुत एक्टिव चल रहा है। नौशहरा सेक्टर में अभी 1 हफ्ते से थोड़ा टाइम पहले ही एक आतंकियों का 3 का ग्रुप मारा था जो इन्फिल्ट्रेट करके आ रहा था। कुपवारा का केरन और बारामूला सेक्टर में जबरदस्त कोशिश चल रही है कि उस जगह पर सीजफायर वायलेशंस की आड़ में और आतंकियों को इस तरफ भेजा जाए।
A CRPF Jawan was killed during an encounter between terrorists and security forces in Pulwama district on Tuesday morning. 2 unidentified terrorists were also killed in that encounter. There has also been a spurt in Pakistani shelling along the LOC in Jammu and Kashmir this year, with over 2,027 cases of violation of the ceasefire agreement being reported till the 10th of June. DD India.
And Abhishek Jha is joining us to get us more on that. Abhishek, we've seen that India has asked Pakistan to cut the staff which is working here, and this is not for the first time this has happened. We saw that happen in 2001 also, when India had expressed such intentions of Pakistan cutting short its staff after the attack. Talk more about it. What a signal does this stern and stringent action by India, what message does it send through?
Preeti, we have seen that in the past few years at least, Pakistan has not been obeying the international rule of peace, the bilateral agreements between India and Pakistan. And these all small steps have taken some time to reach at this point, where India has decided that there is no point having a full diplomatic corps on either side, and because as of now, India and Pakistan are frankly not on very good speaking terms. They are not on talking terms, and there is no normalcy as such. That was the point of having full diplomatic corps, which was agreed years back when almost 110 members were allowed to be on both sides in the High Commission. So there is no point having a proper diplomatic strength, and that is how India has decided to convey to Pakistan that this is not the time, and if Pakistan continues to behave the way it has been behaving and it's not obeying the bilateral agreements of peace and mutual harmony, then there may be some steps ahead also. But as of now, India has reduced the strength of diplomatic corps for Pakistani High Commission in Delhi, and India is going to reciprocate in the same manner in Pakistani High Commission at Islamabad. So this is clearly a very clear message to Pakistan that if it wants to continue a very, even a normal relationship with India in terms of diplomatic relationship, it needs to act. There is no rhetoric that can actually ensure that there is, on the surface of it, that India and Pakistan are having full diplomatic corps on either side, and down below there is no harmony, there is no connection between these two countries. So this needed to be conveyed clearly to Pakistan, and this is what India has tried to message. And one can only hope that from here onwards, Pakistan picks up the signals rightly and acts on its words and promises of past.
All right, Abhishek, thank you so much for joining us with those inputs. And amidst the coronavirus pandemic, India entered the first phase of Unlock 1 on June 1st, and some economic activities were resumed. In this fight against COVID-19, India is marching ahead, and it is only because of the timely tracing, treatment and reporting. The number of people recovering from the virus is continuously rising, and the active cases as on date are 41% of the total cases in the country. While on one hand, the efforts are in full swing to control the spread of the virus, on the other hand, many organizations have predicted growth rate to increase from 8.5% to 9.5%. The centre has made it clear that it will continue to focus on structural improvements. The steps taken by RBI increased the liquidity in the month of May by 94%. Liquidity in the month of April was 22% lower. Foreign exchange reserve in the country is over $507 billion. The government has assured that it prioritizes social welfare policies along with the steps taken to make India more self-reliant. Up next, we'll take a look at the COVID-19 updates from across the country. As per Health and Family Welfare Ministry's data, the recovery rate from COVID-19 has improved to 56.37%, with more than 2.48 lakh people cured. Presently, there are 1,78,014 active cases across the country, and all are under active medical supervision. Meanwhile, Delhi's tally of COVID-19 cases has crossed the 66,000 mark on Tuesday, with the biggest single-day jump of 3,947 fresh infections, while the death toll due to the disease mounted to 2,301. From Friday to Sunday, 3,000 or more fresh cases were reported per day in the national capital. On Monday, 2,909 cases were recorded. The Indian Council of Medical Research on Tuesday expanded the COVID-19 testing norms, advising that all hospitals, offices and public sector units be enabled to conduct rapid antibody tests and recommending the deployment of rapid antigen tests in all the containment zones and hospitals and private labs across the state. The ICMR stated that this will help in allaying the fear and anxiety of healthcare workers, office employees. In order to strengthen the testing mechanisms, ICMR has now facilitated setting up of 1,000 labs across the country. Now, this is a major milestone towards enhanced testing for India. These labs have enabled to test more than 71 lakh tests. ICMR has stressed upon 3 T's, that is test, track and treatment, to prevent the spread of COVID-19 infection and save lives. ICMR added that it is imperative that testing should be made widely available to all symptomatic individuals in each part of the country, and contact tracing mechanisms for containment of infection are further strengthened. The All India Institute of Medical Sciences in Delhi is all set to start its outpatient department services from tomorrow. In the beginning, the OPD services will be for follow-up patients not exceeding 15 patients per day for each division. Patients can be given an appointment for OPD consultation directly by the department or through the computer facility. However, no appointments will be given for evening specialty clinics in the first phase of OPD reopening. On March 24th, the hospital had closed all its non-emergency departments, including surgical departments and specialty clinics, stopped seeing all new and follow-up patients and left only its emergency open for non-COVID-19 patients. Since then, AIIMS has been providing teleconsultancy to all patients currently undergoing treatment at the hospital. The institute has provided 61,000 teleconsultations to follow-up patients to reduce the need for them to visit the facility during COVID-19 forced lockdown between March 25th and June 10th. And amidst the spike in COVID-19 cases without any travel history in Guwahati, Assam government has decided to impose 14-day complete lockdown in the city in 11 wards from Tuesday night. The administration has decided to impose ward-wise lockdown in Guwahati to prevent community transmission of COVID-19. However, the essential item shops will remain open from morning 10 a.m. till 5 p.m. in the evening. Meanwhile, COVID screening centers will start the COVID tests in the city from today onwards. COVID-19 pandemic has taken a toll on the business mood of the city of Kolkata. Durga Puja is only 3 months away. To ride over the crisis, several shopping establishments are now giving thought to do online businesses. Anibrat Bhattacharya files a report.
In the unlockdown days, the hustling city Kolkata returned to its own bustling. But the thing is that corona pandemic has taken a toll on the business mood of the city. Shopping centers in Kolkata, starting from this Gorihat market to New Market, we find that the shopkeepers have opened their doors and the hawkers are back on the footpath. But simply they are failing to do any business at all, because these places are carrying a very low. In other time of the year, we find that these places remain abuzz with customers, but hardly anything as such we find this time now. Several shopkeepers we had talked are indeed venting frustration that they are failing to do any business at all.
बिजनेस का बहुत खराब है, बिजनेस बहुत खराब चल रहा है, कोई कस्टमर नहीं है, सुबह से हम खुला है लेकिन अभी तक एक भी कस्टमर नहीं आया.
And some of the renowned establishments are nowadays thinking some innovative ways of doing business. They have given a thought to run online businesses too.
We have decided that we will start online business for our betterment of the business and communication. Somehow it is a lack of communication if you want to start with the help of online business.
You know, they have expressed their sense of optimism that as the Pujo days are nearing, it's only 3 months away. As the Pujo days will near, the thing will happen to take a change look and they would yield good business in the days to come. With cameraman Palas Dasgupta and Pinak Rai, I am Anibroto Bhattacharya reporting for DD News from Kolkata.
And up next, we'll take a look at the global spread of COVID-19. Globally, over 92.37 lakh people have tested positive for COVID-19, while over 4.76 lakh have lost their lives so far. The United States continues to remain the worst affected with respect to number of confirmed cases, followed by Brazil and Russia. Over 23.45 lakh people have been tested positive across the US, while over 1.21 lakh have died due to COVID-19 so far. Brazil has recorded more than 52,000 deaths and over 11.45 lakh confirmed cases and is trailing behind the US in both the categories, while Russia has reported over 5.98 lakh confirmed cases. That's it in this edition of the News This Hour. Thanks for watching. Namaskar.